Getting married is one of life's most beautiful moments, but the legal side can feel overwhelming. Whether you're planning your first wedding or renewing your vows later in life, understanding the marriage process in the USA ensures your special day goes smoothly and your union is legally recognized. Let me walk you through everything you need to know. Marriage in the United States is both a deeply personal commitment and a legal contract that comes with specific requirements and procedures. While many people focus on the ceremony itself, the flowers, the venue, and the celebration, it's equally important to understand the legal steps that make your marriage official in the eyes of the law. This is especially crucial for seniors who may be considering remarriage, as there can be implications for Social Security benefits, pensions, and estate planning that deserve careful attention. The first thing to understand is that marriage laws in America are determined by individual states rather than the federal government. This means the specific requirements can vary depending on where you live or where you plan to get married. However, there are common elements that apply across most states, and once you understand the basic framework, navigating the process becomes much more straightforward. The good news is that getting legally married is generally a simple process that doesn't require extensive paperwork or legal expertise, though it does require attention to specific details. Before you can get married, you'll need to obtain a marriage license from your county clerk's office or the equivalent local government office in your area. This is a crucial document that authorizes you to get married within that state. You cannot legally marry without this license, so it's the very first step in your journey. To apply for a marriage license, both partners need to appear together at the clerk's office in most states. You'll need to bring valid identification, typically a driver's license, passport, or state-issued ID card. Some states also require your Social Security numbers, so it's wise to bring those cards, or at least know your numbers. The application process is usually straightforward. You'll fill out a form providing basic information about yourselves, including your full legal names, dates of birth, places of birth, current addresses, and information about any previous marriages. If either of you has been married before, you'll need to provide information about how that marriage ended, whether through divorce, annulment, or the death of a spouse. In many cases, you'll need to bring documentation proving that previous marriages have been legally dissolved. This might mean bringing a divorce decree or a death certificate. Don't worry if you don't have these documents readily available. Most county offices can guide you on how to obtain copies if needed. There's typically a fee for the marriage license, which varies by state and county, but usually ranges from $20 to $100. Some counties accept only cash or checks, while others take credit cards, so it's worth calling ahead to confirm their payment methods. Many offices now allow you to begin the application process online, which can save time when you visit in person. However, even with online applications, both partners usually still need to appear together to finalize and pick up the license. One important consideration is timing. Marriage licenses are not valid indefinitely. Most states impose both a waiting period before you can use the license and an expiration date, after which it's no longer valid. The waiting period, sometimes called a cooling-off period, can range from 0 days to several days depending on the state. Some states have no waiting period at all, meaning you can get married the same day you receive your license. Others require you to wait 24 hours, 72 hours, or even longer. This waiting period exists to ensure that couples have time to seriously consider their decision. On the other end, most marriage licenses expire after a certain period, commonly 30 to 90 days. This means you must have your marriage ceremony performed within that time frame, or you'll need to apply for a new license. Understanding these timing requirements is particularly important when planning your wedding. You don't want to get your license too early and have it expire before your ceremony, but you also need to account for any waiting periods. If you're planning a destination wedding in another state, you'll generally need to obtain your marriage license in that state, not your home state, so factor in time for that when you arrive. Now let's talk about the actual marriage ceremony. To make your marriage legally valid, you need an authorized person to perform the ceremony. In most states, this includes religious officials like ministers, priests, rabbis, or imams, who are ordained and registered with the state. It also includes civil officials like judges, justices of the peace, and some government officials. Some states even allow ship captains or notary publics to perform marriages, though this varies. Recently, many states have also begun allowing individuals to become ordained online through various religious organizations for the specific purpose of performing a wedding ceremony. If you're having a friend or family member officiate your wedding, make sure they check the specific requirements in your state and complete any necessary registration. The ceremony itself can be as simple or elaborate as you wish. From a legal standpoint, it only needs to include a declaration of intent, where both partners clearly state their intention to marry each other. Many ceremonies also include the exchange of vows and rings, but these elements are traditional rather than legally required. What matters legally is that you both consent to the marriage in front of witnesses and an authorized officiant. Speaking of witnesses, most states require 1 or 2 witnesses to be present during the ceremony. These witnesses must be adults, but they don't need to be related to you or meet any other special qualifications. They simply need to observe the ceremony and sign the marriage certificate afterward. After the ceremony, your officiant will complete and sign your marriage certificate, and your witnesses will sign it as well. The officiant is then responsible for returning the completed certificate to the county clerk's office or vital records office within a specified time frame, usually within a few days to a few weeks. This is when your marriage becomes officially registered with the state. Once the certificate is filed, you can request certified copies of your marriage certificate, which you'll need for various purposes like changing your name on official documents, updating beneficiary information, or providing proof of marriage for benefits. Let's address some special considerations that are particularly relevant for seniors considering marriage or remarriage. If you're receiving Social Security benefits, getting married can affect your payments in several ways. For example, if you're receiving benefits based on a deceased spouse's work record, those benefits might change when you remarry. Generally, if you remarry before age 60, you may lose those survivor benefits. However, if you remarry at age 60 or older, you can continue receiving benefits based on your deceased spouse's record if those benefits are higher than what you'd receive based on your new spouse's record. These rules can be complex, so it's wise to contact the Social Security Administration before getting married to understand exactly how your benefits might be affected. Pension benefits can also be impacted by marriage. Some pensions have survivor benefits that could be affected by remarriage, while others remain unchanged. Review your pension documents carefully, or speak with your pension administrator to understand any implications. Medicare eligibility is generally not affected by marriage, since it's based on age and work history rather than marital status, but Medicaid eligibility could be affected since it considers household income. If you or your future spouse receives Medicaid, getting married means your combined income and assets will be considered, which could affect eligibility. Estate planning is another crucial consideration for seniors getting married. Marriage automatically revokes any will you had before the marriage in many states, so you'll want to create a new will after you marry. If you have children from previous marriages, you'll want to ensure your estate plan clearly reflects your wishes for how your assets should be distributed. A prenuptial agreement, which is a contract signed before marriage that outlines how assets will be divided if the marriage ends, might be worth considering, especially if you're bringing significant assets into the marriage or want to protect inheritances for children from previous relationships. While prenuptial agreements might seem unromantic, they can actually provide peace of mind and prevent conflicts down the road. Common law marriage is worth mentioning because some people believe it's a simpler alternative to legal marriage. However, common law marriage is only recognized in a handful of states, and even in those states, specific requirements must be met. Generally, couples must live together, present themselves as married to others, and intend to be married. If you want the legal protections and benefits of marriage, obtaining a marriage license and having a legal ceremony is the clearest and most universally recognized path. Same-sex marriage has been legal nationwide in the United States since the Supreme Court's decision in 2015. The process for same-sex couples is identical to the process for opposite-sex couples. You follow the same steps, obtain the same marriage license, and have the same legal rights and responsibilities once married. All states must recognize same-sex marriages performed in other states, just as they do with opposite-sex marriages. If you're planning to marry someone from another country, there are additional considerations. Your partner will need to be in the United States legally to get married here. If they're on a tourist visa or visa waiver, they can legally marry in the US, but marriage doesn't automatically grant them the right to stay in the country or obtain a green card. Immigration proceedings are separate from the marriage process and can be complex, so consulting with an immigration attorney is advisable if you're in this situation. After you're married, you may want to change your name, though this is entirely optional. Traditionally, one spouse takes the other's surname, but you can also choose to hyphenate your names, create a new combined surname, or keep your original names. If you do decide to change your name, your marriage certificate serves as legal proof of your name change. You'll need to update your name with Social Security first, then with the Department of Motor Vehicles for your driver's license, followed by banks, credit cards, insurance policies, and any other accounts or documents that bear your name. The beauty of marriage in America is that while the legal framework is structured and specific, the ceremony itself can reflect your personal beliefs, values, and style. Whether you want a large church wedding, a simple courthouse ceremony, a beach gathering, or a backyard celebration with close friends and family, the legal requirements remain the same. What matters is that you follow the proper steps to ensure your marriage is recognized by law. For seniors especially, getting married later in life can be a wonderful new chapter filled with companionship and joy. Don't let concerns about the legal process hold you back. With a bit of planning and attention to the requirements, obtaining your marriage license and making your union official is entirely manageable. The key is to start by researching your specific state's requirements, allow enough time for any waiting periods, and ensure all your paperwork is in order before your ceremony date. If you have questions or concerns about how marriage might affect your specific financial situation,